Hello and welcome back to the Size Queen Society podcast. I am your host, Adreena Winters, and I am very excited to have Ruby Onyx here with me today. Hi. I'm just trying to remember how I first met you. I feel like I've known you for a really long time, but I can't pinpoint how I met you.
Was it when we went to France?
Had I not met you before we went to France?
I don't know. I've been trying to think. And I feel like that might have been the first time we met. But we'd spoken a lot online before, so maybe that's why.
Yeah. Okay, that doesn't surprise me that we're both just like, we've never met, but let's spend a week on holiday together.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I guess we're both on each other's radars because we're both size queens, and both very unapologetic about it. So I'm just gonna dive straight into the questions. How and when did you become a size queen?
Okay. So my first boyfriend was quite hung.
Right.
And I wasn't too aware. Obviously, he was my first, and I didn't have anything to reference it to. So I kind of just got used to it. And we were together for 3 years. As soon as we broke up, I became a mega slut.
I think that happens to everyone.
I just kept finding that I was disappointed.
Yes.
I was like sleeping with all these guys, and none of them matched up to him.
Yeah.
And it was like, what is going on? And I think that's when I realized, like, oh, damn, I really, really like big dick. And unfortunately, it seems to be quite rare.
Yeah. The average is 5 inches?
Yeah.
Which, I would be disappointed at that average.
It's so unfortunate, isn't it? Like, why have we evolved this way?
I actually read some research recently that apparently women, like, the way they're evolving, they want bigger dicks because of childbirth. Like, I think they're naturally just getting bigger and so want more.
Yeah, right.
Which I think is quite interesting.
That makes sense, yeah.
But yeah, my first boyfriend's nickname for his penis was Mr. Porky, so I had a similar experience to you. I just started big and...
Yeah, and then like after that, it's just disappointing anything less, isn't it?
Yeah. Cool. Well, I will move on to the next question. So what are your size preferences? Like, do you have specific diameters and lengths that you... Yes.
So I do have like a minimum requirement.
Right.
If
Love that.
So obviously I'm married and we have like a sort of more of a stag vixen kind of thing rather than like a hot wife cuckold. So if I'm going to have some fun with somebody else, they need to be worth it. Like if I'm going to cheat on my husband, it's got to be for a good reason.
Yeah, I can see that.
So minimum length, like 7 inches.
Yeah.
And girth. Yeah, what does that look like?
7 is here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
Girth, though, is minimum 6.
Okay. Yeah. These are very similar to me. My preference in length is 8, and then girth like 6.5. So yeah.
So can I ask you a question?
Of course.
Your first boyfriend.
Yes.
What were his measurements?
I don't know.
Because I'm just realizing, as I said that, I think my first boyfriend was 7'6".
Oh no, we never measured it. And a lot of guys that I end up in relationships are like, I've never measured it. I don't know. I'm never like, well, let's get the tape measure out. Maybe I should. Maybe it should be like just...
If I had one, I would so measure it.
I know, I'd be really curious. But no, so many guys are like, no, I've never measured it. I'm like, what? I don't believe it.
No.
So you briefly mentioned then that you are in a stag vixen relationship.
Yeah.
So a lot of my fans are into cuckolding.
Yeah.
And it ends up with a little bit of confusion about like the other variations of that dynamic. So could you just briefly explain the stag vixen?
Okay. So my husband is not submissive. Like he's not the submissive type of cuckold. He doesn't sort of sit in the corner watching and like enjoy being degraded or anything like that. he just loves seeing me enjoy myself.
Yeah.
I think that's what it all boils down to. Like, he just loves seeing me get what I crave.
Yeah.
And it's something that, I mean, previously to his fillers.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know he got dick fillers?
I did. I wasn't sure if you were up for discussing it or not, but I'm so fascinated.
I'm more than happy to discuss it. But previous to his fillers, he didn't have the girth that I really enjoy.
Okay.
And for him to be able to kind of give me the freedom to do that, to get what I need and be a part of it, he loves it.
Yeah.
It really excites him.
Oh.
And I don't think I was born to be monogamous. I've always been monogamous in the past.
Right, okay.
And it's funny because before, just when I met my husband, I was just saying to a friend of mine, she'd told me that her and her husband decided to have an open relationship.
Right.
And I said, oh my God, I would love that.
Yeah.
I'd love to be with a guy that just wanted me to be a huge slut and just go around and enjoy
yeah.
myself. And then that week, my new boyfriend, my now husband, told me, I think we were about 2 months into our relationship, he kind of very sheepishly told me what he was into, and I felt like I'd won the lottery.
It's so good though when you do want an open relationship and the guy is into it as well, and it just works, and there's no deceit or lies. You can just be you and be free. It's good.
Oh, it feels amazing.
So can we just rewind a little bit there, because you mentioned fillers, but you didn't specify where exactly your husband has had fillers.
Yes, so he's had fillers in his penis
To increase the girth.
Yeah.
So I'm really intrigued by that. I feel like he should be here discussing it, but how, like, if it's flaccid, is it still rigid? Like, I'm like, how does a filler?
Yeah. So it does look a little bit funny when it's flaccid.
Yeah.
He had to have a circumcision at the same time.
Ouch.
Yeah, it was a lot. The poor guy.
He did a lot for you.
Yeah, I felt so bad for him. So now, like, when it's flaccid, it's kind of like a podge, and then with the little tip poking out.
Yeah.
At the end.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But then when it's hard and when you need it, there's
a huge difference.
Wow.
Yeah, he went from, I think his girth was roughly sort of between 4 and 4.5, maybe 4.25 inches, and now right around the base it's like 6.5.
Wow.
In the middle it's 6.
Wow.
So
that is a big difference.
Massive difference. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And to be honest, we weren't sure how this was going to affect our lifestyle and his and my kinks. Like, is this going to make him stop wanting me to enjoy other men?
Yeah.
But it hasn't, thankfully.
Good. You just don't have to have inferior cock at home now, which is great.
Life is good.
So my next question is, are you ever disappointed? And what do you do? Like, what have your experiences been when you've ended up in the company of a smaller man?
Well, these days I'm not disappointed because I always know.
You vet them first.
Yeah. The small ones don't get through.
Yeah.
But I guess in the past, if I took someone home and they were underwhelming, I don't know. I think, like, back then, like, before I do what I do now and have this lifestyle, I was a bit more of a people pleaser, I suppose.
Yeah.
So I couldn't just say, oh, your dick's too small and walk out.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like, I can still have a good time with an average dick. Like,
foreplay can go a long way.
Yeah. And I can still climax on an average dick.
Oh, I cannot.
Can you not?
No.
I'm quite lucky that I can. So, and that's all good, like, but it's not going to give you that stretch.
Yeah.
It's the stretch that's, like, just delicious. So yeah, I would have still gone through with it then. These days, though, if I don't know, say if I did go out one night and pull a guy and hadn't found out how big he was beforehand, I probably would leave.
Yeah.
I think, because I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste their time. So yeah, I think I might just get up and
yeah, well, this is kind of why I wanted to start this podcast, because I feel like a lot of women for a really long time have just been accepting an underwhelming sexual experience because they don't want to offend the guy or like hurt his ego. And I'm like, why do we do that? Why are we like, oh, well, we'll just have a shit time so that you can have a good time? Like, why do we do that? It's not okay.
No, we should absolutely be able to say what we want and what we like and what we enjoy. But I do think, me personally, I can still have a good time with someone who's smaller, but it depends. Like, it depends how much I fancy them.
Yeah.
It depends what they're like as a person. Yeah, it depends on the attraction, I think.
Yeah. I had Georgie Ware on a couple months back, and she was saying if they're just like rock hard and really into it, then she's like, yeah, okay,
she's happy with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I guess comes into the same ballpark as being really attracted to them and the chemistry being good. And so what are your thoughts on big dick energy?
Big dick energy. It's a term that you hear quite a lot these days, isn't it?
It's a definite buzzword, isn't it?
Yeah. And I don't know how I feel about it. Like, I think the way that it's used is not like, doesn't actually match to real life.
Yeah.
Like, I actually tend to find that a lot of guys who have a big one can be quite arrogant with it.
Right. Okay.
And I don't, to me, that's not big dick energy.
No.
Like, arrogance is just rude.
Yeah.
Big dick energy, I think, should be more, I don't know, like alpha, but not in a dickhead way.
I think it's like having a quiet confidence.
Yeah.
Where they don't feel the need to
they
prove themselves.
Exactly.
They just walk into a room, they know
yeah
who they are, and they don't need to prove it to anyone.
Yeah, it's funny though, I've known some guys with really big ones who are quite shy, and like I don't know if it's actually related, like if the size is related to the energy of a person. I'm not sure.
Have you ever shot with Simon Pegg?
No.
Ah, so he has a huge cock,
right?
And he is so shy and like,
oh really?
Like, oh bless you.
Oh.
Yeah, he's like really into pegging and stuff. So Simon Crow, sorry. Simon Crow. Did I say
we shot with him together?
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty hung, right?
Yeah, he is.
But just like the cutest little shy.
But yeah, no, he does have a nice one, doesn't he?
Yeah. I enjoy hitting it and being quite horrible. This is a lot to smack. It makes a great sound.
We did have a good laugh, didn't
we?
Of course, slapping that one around.
Yes, we did.
I think we were actually punching it.
But he's just so shy and quiet and does not have big dick energy at all. Bless him.
There was this one guy I was with for a little while when I was probably about 22, I think. We were seeing each other for a couple of months. It didn't really go anywhere. But he had probably one of the biggest I've ever seen.
Right.
And he was so like painfully shy. I think that's why it didn't really go anywhere, because we were just awkward around each other.
Yeah.
It's such a shame because I really had a crush on him for a long time as well.
Aww.
He looked a bit like Damon Albarn, and I wanted to fuck him for years. And then I did, and I was like, oh my God, he was massive. I remember trying to put a condom on it and I couldn't get it on. I was just like,
I always have some king size magnums these days, just in case.
I didn't have that when I was in my early 20s.
No. Well, I think they've only really just become a thing in England. In America, like all the gas stations have like king size magnums, like they're everywhere. But yeah, the UK's been a bit, we get the trim ones.
Yeah.
for a very polite way of saying no girth. Trim.
This guy though, I'd love to find him. Like I can't even remember his name. Actually, I think I remember his first name, but yeah.
If you're listening.
Yeah, if you're listening, get in touch. You look like Damon Albarn and you've got a really big one. But yeah, I'd love to find him.
Ooh. So like we said, like sometimes the energy from someone cannot necessarily match up to what they're actually packing. So how do you turn down a small dick guy if you've, I guess for both of us, we get a lot of messages on social media from guys that are like, oh, I love your work. And I'm like, well, you clearly haven't seen any of it because you're not matching up my usual standards. So how do you turn those people down?
Usually by saying something along the lines of, you don't fit my niche.
Okay.
Yeah, I try to be polite.
Yes.
Unless they're pushy.
Yeah.
And then, like, it's time to be slightly
harsh,
truthful. But yeah, you don't fit my niche.
That's usually my go-to as well.
Message.
Or my fans. You're not what my fans would like to see. Is my other one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because of what we do, we've like built this fan base of guys that enjoy watching big ones. So we have to keep doing it.
Oh no.
I know.
Do you have any strategies on finding out if a guy is hung before getting into a room with him? So either in your private life or online.
I ask them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have a big dick? I just come out with it.
Yeah. I think you have to. Yeah. And there's been like so much taboo around it and like, oh, you shouldn't. But I don't know about you, but every interview I've ever done ever for anything has always, one of the questions has been like, what is your bra size?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm just like, women have had to openly discuss their chest size forever. And like, let's normalize, men being open about what they're packing.
Yeah. Why not?
I think they should.
I completely agree.
My friend and I actually on that topic like to go to the ballet just because we like to see the men in tights.
Oh my God, that's such a good idea.
Can
I come?
Yeah. I'm like, we should just normalize men in tights in just general society. It shouldn't just be reserved to ballet.
Thing is though, with that, some of them are growers and some are showers.
Yes.
Like my first boyfriend, he was a grower.
Right.
You wouldn't think it was that big when it was soft. So it's so hard.
Yeah, I never know if I prefer a grower or a shower. I don't know whether I'm like, oh, a bit disappointed, but oh, hello, or whether I'm like just excited from the first minute. I'm like, yes.
They're both nice in different ways.
Yes. So, do you talk about your preferences publicly on social media? And if so, do you receive hate?
Yeah. So I've started to move away from talking about it too much.
Right.
So I used to post like TikToks and tweets and stuff. And now I tend not to do that because I think if someone wants to come to me to be shamed for their size, then that's okay. But doing it openly on social media doesn't quite sit right with me anymore.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. Sometimes I do a little bit, maybe. But yeah, there have been some comments over the years, and it's always guys who are like, "Oh, if guys did this about women's breasts, then there'd be uproar." And I'm like, You do that. Like, we've grown up with that our whole lives.
It's like most of us have implants.
Exactly.
Because there's so much pressure on it. Yeah.
Yes. And I think it's it's insecure guys who are getting a taste of their own medicine and they don't like the dynamic.
No.
Switching round.
Yes, definitely. I did a podcast with Nikki Cruz and I was going through the comments last week and someone had been like, you've just hated on 98% of the world's population.
Oh yeah, I've had that one, yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not hating on anyone. I just don't want to have sex with them. And I have no intention on having sex with 100% of the world's population. No, so I'm quite happy with the 2% that tick all the boxes for me. Thank you very much.
And like all these like fake boobs, like they're not natural, are they?
No.
And guys love them.
Yeah.
So that puts pressure on women to feel like they've got to modify their bodies. What is the difference?
I'm very interested to see if the dick filler becomes more of a mainstream.
We've had a lot of guys inquire about it, like where did you go? How much did it cost? Are you pleased with the results? A lot of interest.
Yeah. The place I used to go to in London for my lip filler, he asked me if I would do a promo post for the dick filler he offers. And I was like, I don't really know if it fits my niche, encouraging guys to get filler, but maybe.
Yeah.
I had been approached by someone in London about it.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
I think you've definitely got the audience for it.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the little dick guys that are fans of me like to be told to just accept their place, rather than like, oh, here's a solution for you to try and compete with. But yeah, I guess this is a different dynamic between like a cuck and a stag. Like a stag's definitely much more of a alpha than a beta.
Yeah,
I like the little betas. So.
They are fun, aren't they?
Okay, so I've got some they're supposed to be quick fire questions, but they don't have to be. Like, if you want to elaborate, then that's fine.
Okay.
Do you love a guy, well, a hung guy specifically, in grey sweatpants?
Grey sweatpants. What is it about them?
Do you not get it?
No, I do.
Oh, you're just like, but what is it that makes them cling like that?
The grey, like...
I don't know.
I don't know what it is, but yeah, totally. Yeah. In the gym, I find it quite difficult to concentrate.
Yeah, me too.
I'm just looking around at bulges, like.
Yeah, I don't know if they do it deliberately. I don't know if they know what they're doing.
I think they do. It's such a well-known thing now, isn't it?
Yeah, but then occasionally you get like a 70-year-old like wandering around the supermarket in grey sweatpants, and then I feel a bit creepy because I'm like, oh no.
Do they know?
Favorite porn star slash content creator could be like a guy you work with or a woman or whatever.
Other than you,
Aww.
Honestly, though, truthfully, I have so much admiration for you.
Oh,
you are just such a superstar and such a lovely person as well.
Oh,
and
you too. I love hanging out with you.
Likewise, I love shooting content with you. And
just always so effortless with you. It's great. We're just always on the same page.
Yeah. And I find you so calming, and I'm just so at ease with you.
Good, good. I love that.
Others? Oh, I don't know.
Who's your favourite male?
Favourite male?
Yes.
Well, I did shoot with Goro Kush recently, and he was fabulous.
Yes,
and I'd love to see him again.
All of the girth and all of the length.
It's lovely.
And he's just beautiful.
Yeah.
And he's French. Well, he's not French, but he speaks French, so his accent's very sexy as well.
And he's just a lovely guy.
He is so sweet.
Yeah. He's not like arrogant at all, is he?
But he could literally be like a supermodel. He has like supermodel looks.
I know. Yeah, definitely need to arrange something with him again. Yes. Some of the guys I shoot with aren't actually in the industry.
Yeah.
Some of my favourite ones. But then they go and get girlfriends, and it's really annoying because I can't
Ruins
shoot
it
with
all.
them anymore.
Some of them already have girlfriends, and then everything goes a bit,
Yes.
Silly boys, silly boys. Okay, I love this question, but I already know what your answer is going to be. You can only have one, girth or length?
Well, girth would be my obvious answer. However, without length, there's nothing to deliver the girth.
Yes.
So, well, I'm just trying to think what like a 5-inch would be like with a 6-inch girth. I think I'd still be okay with that. Yeah, girth.
Yeah. See, a lot of women tell me girth, which reminds me, I've forgotten to show you the Drake video. So I think we'll cut when we finish, and then I'll show you, and then we'll record your reaction if I can still find it. But yeah, a lot of people say girth. I did a little poll on my Twitter the other day, and the majority of people say girth. But for me, I say length. Like I do want above average girth, but for me the length is more important. Because for me, my G spot's not that sensitive, but there's like a spot a bit higher. I can never remember what it's called, which just does things for me that just blow my mind. And so if people can't hit that, I'm like, nah.
So what if you're with a guy who's got, say, 8 inches, but it's quite slim?
Yeah, I'd probably still prefer that.
Really?
Yeah. I don't
just
love a
find that
pencil dick. They kind of creep me
pokey.
out a bit, but ultimately they need to have both, don't they? Really, it has to be in proportion.
Yeah.
You need both. But yeah,
It's just so unfortunate how rare it is, like, to get what we like. I mean, 6 inches is rare enough.
yeah,
I love a 7-inch plus.
yeah,
And that's just incredibly rare,
yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah.
Such a shame.
I like an 8, but we'll settle for 7. I think we kind of covered this earlier, but what is the perfect dick length for you?
7 or 8.
Yeah, and then
is
girth, you
good.
said 6 plus.
Yeah.
Those are like your minimum. Well, no, those were your minimum. So what? So your perfect would be.
Oh, so perfect. Probably 8 length and 7.5. I'm going to indulge myself.
So usually I have like a Coke can or something to measure just for context for girth, because I find girths harder. But I have my coffee thermos today, which is very girthy. So this is 8.5.
8.5.
And that is chunky. Like
That is substantial.
So there's an inch more girth than your perfect. But yeah, let's go in some.
I have had an 8.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's known as the stretcher.
Wow, I can see why.
He was actually the first person I shot with in front of my husband.
Oh, wow. Okay, you went hard.
Yeah. And he's from Canada.
Okay.
We were on holiday and I was looking on FetLife and I said to my husband, like, oh my God, look at this dick. And so my husband started chatting to him.
Right.
And without me knowing.
Arranged for him to come over.
Yeah.
What a great husband.
I know. And he said, I've got a surprise for you. So this guy came over from Canada, stayed one night and then flew home the next day.
Oh.
And we just.
Well, I'm sure it's probably hard for this guy to find women that can accommodate him.
Yeah,
so he probably
I
just
think
jumps
so.
on the opportunity.
Yeah. And that's a good point, actually, because although a dick like that is fun, I don't think I'd want to be with someone as a life partner with one that big.
Yeah, I saw a TikTok the other day and she was using the term boyfriend dick, which I'm assuming refers to like the dick that you wake up to every day that's just like your daily, needs to not break you every time.
Yeah, exactly. Although I do kind of like that sore feeling afterwards.
Yes.
But you don't want that every day, do you?
No. But yeah, once a month, once a week, once a month. Like, how frequently do I want that?
I'll take it when I can get it, to be honest.
And this is a bit of a basic question, but I do find it quite important. What is your favourite position?
Do you know, I'm so boring.
Right.
It's missionary, I think.
Okay.
Because I find that I have the best and quickest orgasms in missionary position. I am very lucky in that I can have orgasms through penetrative sex, which a lot of people can't.
Yeah, and I don't think that's discussed enough either. I think women just think there's
Yeah.
something wrong with them because they're not coming all over the dick all the time.
Exactly. So I do feel very blessed for that. But it is like other positions, a bit of clitoral stimulation does the trick, but missionary, I don't need any outside stimulation.
Need both. I need the blended orgasm.
Yeah, as do most women.
Yes.
I mean, some women don't even have orgasms.
I know, but I think that's partly down to like the partner being insecure about her using a toy in the bedroom or whatever. Like I love like a wand on my clit and a good dick in my pussy. Like, it's so good. But there's so many guys that are just like, oh, you know, you're not really getting off on me, I'm getting off on the toy. And I'm like, no, it's very much you. I just need a little assistance here.
Yeah, exactly. There's no shame in that.
And I just want to have the best orgasm I can have.
Yeah,
so
why not?
Get over it.
Why not? What's your favourite position?
So I'm very unusual. Most women say missionary, but I think my cervix like faces the opposite direction or something. I don't know. I haven't had that medically like explained to me, but for some reason everything feels better the opposite way around for me. So doggy is my favourite.
Right.
Whereas I find a lot of women struggle with, I think you struggle a little bit with doggy from what I remember when I've shared giant penis with you.
If it's a really long one, then it can sometimes hit the wrong spot and I have to kind of move my hips slightly.
Yeah.
But yeah, doggy is lovely.
Yeah.
For different reasons. Like I love, so missionary is for like when I just want to just look someone in the eye and snog their face off and get really intimate. Yeah. Doggy is for when you just want it rough and hard and you get it.
Be overpowered a little bit, yeah. Yes. That is actually the end of all my questions here. But is there anything else that you wanted to touch on or?
Let me think. We haven't talked much about the whole cuckold thing, have we?
No.
Because although I'm not really in a cuckold relationship, I do love the dynamic, and I do really enjoy the clean up.
Yes,
that gets me off.
Yes, I really like that too.
And yeah, I love the power exchange. So I'm lucky that I get to do that with other cuckolds.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just there's so many layers to it, isn't there? It's so interesting. I just find it fascinating.
Yeah. But I also love that, like you say, you have the stags and the cucks and the I guess just the swingers in general, and just the different nuances of like the dynamics between each of those. And
yeah, it's so interesting.
Because who was I speaking to? I was speaking to someone that was like, "Oh, I think I'm a cuck, but I'm not really sure." And I was like, "It sounds more like you're a stag to me. Like you're not particularly submissive. You're not into being degraded, but you just like you get off on a woman being pleased by someone that's able to do it better than you."
And a lot of guys do. I don't think the term stag is very well known or talked about, is it?
No.
I didn't even know what it was. I think it was one of my OF subscribers that told me what me and my partner are.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I've never heard that term before.
My ex used to use the term alpha cuck, which I kind of feel like is more obvious. So like what it means. I feel like maybe you just need alpha cuck and beta cuck, and then that's like more obvious than all these other weird and wonderful terms.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So what would you define a vixen over a cuckoldress kind of?
For me, I'm not sure if there is much different.
I guess maybe there's less of the degrading kind of side of it from a vixen. It's more of a neutral.
I enjoy mixing it up. Like sometimes I love being really bossy and mean and cruel and degrading. And then other times I prefer being quite sensual and I like both. So yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm not a vixen. I don't know. Maybe I'm both.
But I don't know. Can you have a stag and then not a vixen? Like there's so much to discuss about it.
Have a stag and a cuckoldress. I don't know. Or I suppose it's a spectrum.
Yes, I would say so. Maybe we need to make some graphics of like the sliding scale and just like where do you land on this scale? Maybe I'm going to do that. That sounds like something I need to do.
Yeah. Go around diagnosing people.
Well, I think people just like to understand their kink, and I think sometimes they feel a bit lost if they don't have some kind of term that they can then research and find other people the same as them.
Definitely. It's always nice to feel like you're not alone and you belong.
Yeah. I do love like the comments on my social media posts. Like I get predominantly all cucks. I get the odd guy that's like, I'm an alpha, and I'm like, why are you here, dudes? Why? But I just love how supportive they all are of each other and how like they all just it's just so cute. I'm just like, oh, I love you guys.
Yeah, that is really sweet. I love it when they like chat to each other in comments on my posts and stuff.
Sort of egg each other on and like, it's great. I'm like, oh. I have one guy. Every single thing I post, he comments this basically the same thing, a variation of. He's probably watching this and like I appreciate the comments, but every time it's like I have a 4-inch penis and you would not like every comment. He's just like I have a 4-inch.
The same thing every time.
Yeah, I know. I know it's 4 inches.
But do you respond?
Sometimes, but I think part of, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure he's probably watching. I think part of it is that like public humiliation of like announcing on social media on a post that's probably going to get quite a few views. Like, I am only 4 inches. I think it's part of the kink for him.
Definitely. You just know he's typing that with one hand.
Oh, well, on that note, I think I'm going to wrap things up. Cool. Well, thank you very much, Ruby, for coming in today. It's actually been fascinating to talk to you. It's possibly one of my favourite conversations I've had so far.
Really?
So, yeah.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for having me. I feel very honoured to be asked.
I'm very intrigued to see what people are saying in the comments once it goes live. But yeah, I think
me too.
I think it's going to be very well received. So that's good.
Excellent.
Thank you very much for listening. I'd love to hear your feedback. So don't forget that we especially want to hear from anyone that has little dick energy but thinks that they have big dick energy. I'm so curious about that. Also, please drop me a message if you have any comments or suggestions on this episode, or maybe even recommend future guests to me. You can email me at hello@sizequeensociety.com, or you can tweet me at SQSpodcast. I am also on Instagram now, Size Queen Society Podcast. And you can check out sizequeensociety.com for all of the episode details, including both mine and Ruby's links. And I will be back with another episode soon. So make sure you subscribe so you do not miss a future Size Queen chat.